A Father's Hope, a story of love and expectations. In a small town surrounded by golden fields and a quiet river, lived an old man named Ahmed. He was a hard-working farmer who had spent his entire life toiling under the sun, his hands rough from years of labor. But his heart was soft, filled with love and dreams for his only son, Zion. From the moment Zion was born, Ahmed had seen the world differently. He no longer worked just for himself, but for his son's future. Every grain he harvested, every coin he saved, was meant to give Zion a life better than his own. The father's dream. Ahmed had only one wish, that Zion would grow into a good, responsible man, one who valued honesty, hard work, and respect. He wanted his son to study, to learn, to build a future beyond the fields. Education will take you far, my son, Ahmed would say. It will open doors that I could never even dream of. Zion listened but never truly understood. He was young, full of life, and eager to escape the struggles he saw his father endure. He dreamt of the big city, of wealth and comfort. He often thought his father's simple ways were outdated, his dreams too small. The departure. One day, Zion got the opportunity to study in the city. Ahmed sold a piece of his land, the land he had inherited from his ancestors, just to fund his son's education. With teary eyes and a hopeful heart, he bid farewell to Zion, watching as the boy he had raised disappeared into a world far from their humble home. "Remember who you are, my son," Ahmed whispered, waving until the bus was just a speck on the horizon. The years apart, life in the city was fast-paced, and Zion changed with it. He studied hard, built connections, and eventually got a well-paying job. But in his success, he found himself drifting away from the life he once knew. Calls to his father became rare, and visits home became even rarer. Ahmed, however, never stopped waiting. Every evening he would sit on the old wooden bench outside their house, hoping to see his son walk through the gates. Neighbors would ask, "Will Zion visit this year?" And every time Ahmed would smile and say, "He is busy making a better life. He will come soon." Years passed. The house grew older, and so did Ahmed. His back bent, his hands trembled, but his heart still held the same hope. The homecoming one winter evening, after nearly a decade, Zion finally decided to return home. He arrived in a sleek car, dressed in fine clothes. As he stepped out, he saw the house, smaller than he remembered, the paint peeling, the fields less green. And there on the same wooden bench sat his father. His eyes, once bright, were now dull with age. But when he saw Zion, they sparkled with unshed tears. "My son," Ahmed whispered, struggling to stand. Zion rushed forward and held his father's frail hands. A lump formed in his throat as he saw how much time had passed, how much he had missed. "I am sorry, Baba," Zion choked, his voice breaking. "I was so lost in making a future that I forgot the one who gave me everything." Ahmed smiled gently, patting Zion's hand. "You are here now, my son. That is all that matters." That night, Zion sat beside his father, listening to his stories, sharing his own. And as he did, he realized something. His father's biggest expectation had never been wealth, success, or status. It had simply been love, respect, and presence. Moral of the story: a father's greatest expectation is not riches or fame, but the love and respect of his children. Time waits for no one. Cherish your loved ones while you still have them. No matter how far we go, we must never forget our roots. Zion had achieved everything he had ever wanted, but in that quiet home, in the presence of his father, he finally understood the true meaning of success. A story that will make you want to learn English. Ali was a simple boy living in a small alley. His biggest dream was to learn English, but every time he tried, he would hear people laughing at him. Ali, you can't learn English. It's not for you. These words echoed in his ears again and again. But deep inside, he had a fire burning. He knew that if he worked hard, nothing was impossible. Ali's struggle and the turning point. One day, his friend Usman, a university student, saw him struggling. Ali was in a shop where a foreign customer had arrived. The shopkeeper couldn't understand English, and Ali was equally confused. The foreigner asked, "Can you help me find this product?" Ali panicked. His face turned red. Sweat dripped from his forehead, and he nervously said, "Sorry, no English," before stepping back. Usman saw everything and understood that Ali only needed a little confidence. He smiled and said, "You can learn English, but you have to stop being afraid." That night, Ali kept thinking about what had happened at the shop. He felt ashamed of his fear, but also determined to change. He remembered how people made fun of him, and instead of letting that discourage him, he decided to use it as motivation. Ali's determination and new journey. That day, Ali made a decision. He would take on the challenge of learning English. He created a simple plan for himself. 1. Use a new English word every day. 2. Read a short English story daily and speak it out loud. 3. Practice writing sentences to improve both writing and speaking skills. 4. Look for every possible opportunity to speak in English. 5. Watch English movies with subtitles and try to mimic the dialogues. 6. Listen to English songs and try to understand their meaning. 7. Join an English-speaking group or practice with friends. The first few days were difficult, but slowly his confidence grew. Whenever he learned a new word, he would relate it to his life. For example, after learning the word challenge, he thought, "My biggest challenge is learning English." He also started talking to himself in English, practicing simple conversations like introducing himself, asking for directions, or ordering food. At first he felt silly, but soon he noticed improvements in his speech. Facing challenges and overcoming fear. Ali's journey was not smooth. There were days when he felt frustrated, especially when he couldn't understand certain words or phrases. He once tried speaking English in front of a group of people, but he made mistakes and some of them laughed. That night, he almost gave up. He thought, maybe they are right. Maybe I can never learn English. But then he remembered his friend Usman's words. You just have to stop being afraid. Instead of quitting, Ali decided to push harder. He started recording his voice while speaking English and listened to his pronunciation. He corrected his mistakes and kept practicing. He also started keeping a small notebook where he would write new words, their meanings, and use them in different sentences. This helped him memorize words faster. Within a month, Ali's confidence skyrocketed. The same people who once laughed at him now started asking him for advice. He even helped his younger brother with English homework, something he had never imagined doing before. Ali's first public speech. One day, Ali's school announced an English speech competition. The thought of speaking in front of so many people made him nervous, but he also saw this as an opportunity to test his skills. With Usman's encouragement, he decided to participate. For days, he practiced his speech in front of the mirror, recorded himself, and even rehearsed in front of his family. The day of the competition arrived, and Ali's heart was pounding as he stepped onto the stage. Taking a deep breath, he began, "Good morning, everyone. Today I want to share my journey of learning English." His voice trembled at first, but as he spoke, he gained confidence. He looked at the audience, smiled, and delivered his speech fluently. By the time he finished, the entire hall erupted in applause. He had done it. The boy who once struggled to say even a single sentence in English had now delivered a full speech. The grand event and Ali's triumph. One day, a big event was organized in his neighborhood, where a foreign guest had arrived. Everyone was nervous because no one knew how to speak English fluently. Then a voice called out, "Ali, can you talk to him?" Ali's heart started pounding, but then he thought, "I have been preparing for this moment. I will not be afraid." He stepped forward confidently and said, "Welcome to our neighborhood. How can I help you?" Everyone was shocked. The same Ali who once ran away saying no English was now speaking fluently. The foreign guest appreciated him and said, "You speak very well. Keep it up." Ali not only had a conversation with the guest, but also translated for others who needed help. That moment changed his life. It proved that his efforts had paid off and that he was capable of doing something he once thought was impossible. Ali's success and the road ahead. After the event, Ali felt unstoppable. He started reading English books, watching interviews, and even practicing with online friends from different countries. His dream had finally come true, but he knew this was just the beginning. Ali set a new goal: to become an English teacher and help others overcome their fear of learning. He wanted to inspire people just as Usman had inspired him. If Ali can do it, so can you. This is not just a story, it's the journey of every person who dreams of learning English. The key is to start, no matter how small the steps may be. Mistakes are part of learning, but persistence leads to success. Ali's journey teaches us that success comes to those who keep moving forward, no matter how many times they fail. Whether it's learning a new language, mastering a skill, or achieving any other goal in life, consistency and confidence are the keys to success. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step today, and who knows, maybe one day you will inspire someone just like Ali did. If you like this story, like this post, share your experience. And if you want us to bring more inspiring stories, subscribe now. Smile Book.